Welcome to the second part of Training to Become Ironman. In the first episode, I introduced you to the superhero series that I'm going to be doing, as well as Robert Downey's history leading up to playing Ironman, and the diet he was on while he was preparing to do the role. Now in this episode, we're going to focus on the actual weight training that he did to transform himself into Ironman, and of course, Tony Stark. So when Robert Downey started training to play Ironman for the first time in 2008, along with his martial arts, he weight trained at least 4 times a week for 40 to 90 minutes each session, and he would alternate between heavy weight training days and lighter weight training days. Now, because he worked with a trainer, he never knew how long the training sessions were going to be, as that was decided by the trainer, so he had to push hard, never knowing when the session was going to end. The actual exercises that Robert Downey used to play Ironman the first time were quite traditional. They were things like squats and deadlifts and bench press and shoulder press, as well as dips. It's reported that during this time his bench press doubled and his shoulder press nearly tripled. But his workouts got a lot more interesting the second time he had to bulk back up to play Mr. Stark. After he finished the first Ironman, he got lean and shredded to play Sherlock Holmes, dropping 20 pounds and showing off his abs. Now, it was time for him to bulk back up again. I know I mentioned it in the first video, but it's important to mention again, they weren't wanting Robert Downey to look like a buff bodybuilder type. They wanted him to look like a military type man and have an imposing enough physique that he could hang out with that group of people. So when our minds start to think of more of a military style workout, it moves away from traditional bodybuilding moves to a more functional style training. I found a copy of a sample workout that he would do. Now this one was from when he was preparing to do the first Avengers movie. Now Robert Downey's trainer didn't like to do the exercises in the same order every workout, or even for that matter, necessarily even do the same exercises every workout. So not knowing what was coming next was the order of the day. But in this sample workout, they had him start with band squats, probably for a warm-up, then moving into hamstring curls and leg presses, 4 sets of 8 to 12 of those. From there, they moved into stability work, doing suspension trainer lunges and Superman squats. Now, I find suspension trainer lunges take a lot more stability than, say, a Bulgarian split squat, and Superman squats do a great job of engaging the whole body, especially the core. After this, they have Romanian deadlifts. Then again, incorporating the stabilizers, they move on to sandbag squats. The thing about sandbag training is the sand is always shifting, so you can't lift as much weight as you can with a barbell. Now, on every single workout, they do an ab circuit. What they do is they pick 4 to 6 different exercises and then have them do each exercise for 2 minutes straight before moving on to the next exercise. And he would do this in 3 circuits. Now, before we move on to the upper body work, I want to talk about a couple exercises that we know that he did that weren't on this list. One of them is the farmer's walk. We've seen that in a video clip. And in a WebMD interview with his trainer, the trainer said that he set up a wheelbarrow with 650 pounds and they would have him wheel it through an obstacle course. And I've been in construction my whole life, and if there's one thing I know, there's definitely a bit of an art to being able to operate a wheelbarrow. Both of those exercises, the farmer's walk and the heavy wheelbarrow, would be great full body exercises. So for his upper body exercises, he would do weighted dips and pull-ups. He'd do 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps of those. Then he would do Swiss ball bench press. And we have a video clip of him pressing a bamboo stick that they tied kettlebells to with rubber bands. And I know that sounds pretty ridiculous, but both of those exercises would really work your body stability-wise. And hey, they got him in shape. Following that, they do a low row, and they do what they call a continuous tension dumbbell press. And that's where you hold both arms straight overhead with your dumbbells, and you'd lower the one arm while leaving the other one up. And then once you had that arm back up, then you would lower the opposite arm, and you just continue with that for your number of reps, of which they did typically, again, 8 to 12 reps of. Following that, they did 2 different types of push-ups to failure. The first type they did was off a Bose ball, and then the second type they did was off a suspension trainer. Now, I don't have a Bose ball, so when I want to do push-ups with a little increased stability, I used some small dumbbells, so you could use those, or a couple little blocks of wood. Following the push-ups, we have suspension trainer rows. He'd do 3 sets of these to failure. And alternatively, we could do inverted or Australian rows. After that, he would do front shoulder raises and lateral shoulder raises. Then moving into kettlebell swings. Now, no kettlebell, no problem. You can just substitute a dumbbell instead. Finally, he'd end off with sandbag throws, and I'd probably alternate between sandbag throws and explosive push-ups, as they're similar movements and it provide a bit of variety. And if there's one thing we know about Robert Downey, he liked to have variety in his workouts, and he did a lot of stability work on his way to becoming Ironman. So I will leave these complete sample workout in the description, so you can check it out if you want to take a look. Otherwise, until next time, this is Lawrence from Fit and 50. Keep working out till you're superhuman. Keep having fun. And we will talk to you again in that next video.